That seems to be working. The internet can totally see you now, so just stop, use your encoder. So we're live. Good evening everybody, welcome to Mikesunboxing Reviews How To, and today is a sort of impromptu live stream, which I thought I would do. I was bringing George home from work this evening and got me thinking about things that has happened this week and reminiscing a little bit. So as you can see, I've got all my old games out from the loft upstairs, which this is probably one of the few things I actually kept from the house when we moved years ago. My voice is echoing. Oh, hang on, let me change some settings. Let's see if I change that one. How's that? Is that better? We're sounding good? Sounding crisp and clean. What's the opinion, people? Oh, I can't tell. Eek eek. Hi Eek eek, whoever you are. H's Horror Fan 88, good evening, welcome to you. An improvement but not perfect. Okay, so I think it's because of the Logitech camera. Do apologise. Is it not any better yet? Or is it just echoing because I'm in an echoey room? Oh well. Nares and snares all the way. An improvement but not perfect. Well, I never claim to be perfect, so we'll just run with it and see how it goes. So back to what I was saying. So I've been up in the loft and I've dug out the old games. Now the reason behind this is, I don't know if any of you guys are gamers or sort of like playing strategy games and that sort of thing, but the thing that has got me to go into this is, I had to look for it then, is this bad boy. Theme Hospital. Now this game came out in, I'm not even sure what year this came out in. Let's see if I can find out on here. No, not a clue. Basically it was made by Bullfrog Games and it came out for Windows 95. So I'm imagining this is a good 25 years old, maybe slightly more than that, who knows. But you'll love this. This is the requirements for the game. MS-DOS version with a Intel 486DX266 processor. I think that says 8 gigabytes of RAM. Oh, sorry, 8 megabytes of RAM, and a 2x CD-ROM. Wow! If you're using the Windows 95 version, you needed a Pentium processor and 8 megabytes of RAM, but 16 megabytes was strongly recommended. And they recommended a Intel Pentium 133, 16 gigs of RAM, 55 megabytes of hard drive space. 55 megabytes of hard drive space. An app on your phone is that now. And they recommended the Sound Blaster AWE32. What a great sound card that was in its day. But there you go, that is the game. So this is what has triggered this in me. I actually started playing this again on my my main PC the other night because I got it for free off of Origin. Now I suggest if you like free games and you like older games, sign up to Origin from EA, and every now and then they release a little classic like this, which is completely free to play. So I did it. Mrs. Caff did it, and we both got it on our computers, and we had another go at it last night, and she was reminding me of how to build things and how to construct hospitals. It was quite good. But this game now, as of tomorrow morning at 7 AM, that's UK time, British summertime, tomorrow the successor, the spiritual successor to this game is being released. We've already got it on Steam, downloaded, preloaded, ready to go, just waiting to click that button. 2 Point Hospital is what it's called, and if you've not seen it before, if you've not seen anything about it, get on Google it and have a look at it. It looks absolutely amazing. Well, if you liked Theme Hospital or any of those sort of games like Sims, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Sim Tower, all those kind of games, then you're going to love 2 Point Hospital. And I am totally stoked. I can't wait till tomorrow morning. I'm not sure whether I'm going to stay up all night, drink a shitload of coffee and stay up, or whether I'm going to go to bed shortly after this and then wake up nice and early. I'm probably a bit too excited. It's like Christmas Day all over again for me. So I am really excited, and it looks fantastic. It's got the same level of humour. Most of the people who actually worked on Theme Hospital have come on board, and they're part of the new Sega enterprise, which have made this new game. So I'm totally looking forward to it. But that's what made me think about it. So I started playing this last night, and I thought, what other games did I used to play which I spent hours and hours on? Now you guys out there are probably in the same boat as me. If you're of a similar age, which is around about 40, then yeah, you'd have probably played a lot of these games yourself. So in fact, some of these games I loved so much, I actually bought them twice. So like Roller Coaster Tycoon, there's the boxed version, which I bought from PC World, and then probably put this in the loft, then thought, oh, I want to revisit that game. So I went to PC World and bought another copy. Oh, someone's asked, is that Counter-Strike Source? No, it isn't. This is actually Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which is the kind of like the update to the Counter-Strike, I think it's probably 1.4, but this is really super old. And it came with, I think it came with something else as well. So it's come on 2 CDs, which is mad, and it actually came with Half-Life 2 as well, which you needed Half-Life 2 because that was like the base game. So Counter-Strike Condition Zero went on top of it. Wow. So Counter-Strike is where kind of most of this all started out. But even before all of that, there was all these other games like Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit, Need for Speed 3, Hot Pursuit, or whatever it was. That was a classic. I played the guts out of that. And this actually, the original version, which is there, which again I bought from PC World probably in the late 90s. And if you look in the top corner, you may not be able to see it, but there is actually a 3DFX logo because it had the enhanced graphical version for 3DFX Voodoo cards. But again, one of those games that I bought on the box, probably lost the box in the loft somewhere, and then went out and bought it again when it was on sale. So they've had their money's worth out of me. What other game? Roller Coaster Tycoon again, bought that game, and then, as with most people did, we went out and bought the added attractions pack, or we downloaded it and pirated it and used some sort of game crack to emulate the CD, but that's another story. But that's what got me thinking, some of these old games are just brilliant, and I hate, well I don't hate, I love to think about the amount of hours that I've actually whittled away playing these games. Some of the more sort of in-depth ones I've spent a lot of time on, both me and Kath actually. Lola, that was, what was that? That was, yeah, basically you had to run a porno like a porno enterprise, and it was very, very odd and very surreal. And it was one of the early 18 rated games, as you can see on there. 18 rated. The Erotic Business Simulation. Kath wanted to buy that one. I was more into Monopoly. That's going to fall over. So looking over that side, got the Sims games. Oh my god, how many hours have I whittled away with the Sims, and Kath especially, and George and Angel for that matter. Everybody seemed to get into the Sims. It kind of it sparked a new thing, a creative thing in a lot of people. And the add-on packs were mental. There was like something else coming out every other day. Even people like IKEA got in on it, and you could buy an IKEA pack to add to it, so you could put IKEA furniture into your Sims house. How mad was that? But really crazy games. Hotel Giant, that was one of those games, again, from the very, very kind of mid-90s. I think me and Kath bought that, Hotel Giant, and I bought probably, I think it was probably Carmageddon at the time, and we just spent hours and hours, and like Carmageddon, now this is like pretty insane. So let's go through the years on this one. So first of all, we started with Carmageddon, the game that kind of started it all. Now that was intense. That was a really intense game, and as standard as it came out, you couldn't have the blood in it, the blood and guts, when you ran over people. So very shortly after, from PC World, went back in and bought the Splat Pack. So basically that added a few more cars, a few more levels, but more importantly it added blood and guts. So you could then start killing people and getting blood and guts everywhere. Amazing. So a little bit later on, they came out with that. Carmageddon 2. Now with the upgraded graphics, that game played much better, but it just didn't seem to have the same kind of pull is the original Carmageddon for some reason. I don't know why. The original Carmageddon, if you try and play it now, the graphics are absolutely horrendous. There's an updated version on Steam, so if you download or if you buy the latest version of Carmageddon, which has been released probably last year, you actually get an upgraded version of that, which you can play on PC, and they've upgraded the graphics. It still plays the same, looks much nicer, definitely well worth having a look at. Then there comes this pile of rubbish, Carmageddon TDR 2000, which probably came out around about the year 2000, and it was an abomination and it should never have existed. In fact, you're dead to me. I'm not having that ever again. But again, Carmageddon games. I remember when I broke up from work one year at Christmas time, and I think I'd done my neck in, and I could hardly move my neck. So all I did was sat in front of my old Pentium, probably, I'm trying to think what Pentium processor it was. Some really god-awful Pentium processor-based PC with big beige speakers either side of my head. And I just played Carmageddon for hours and hours whilst trying not to move my bad neck. Things we'd go through for gaming. But anyway. Is that 80s horror fan? My actually, let's get my my chat pop out going so I can actually see what you guys are saying. If that will actually work. So 80s horror fan 88. I had Carmageddon on the Nintendo 64. Oh my god, is it that old? Nintendo 64. So that would have been late 90s as well, I guess. I'd never got into the Nintendo 64. My brother-in-law did, Lee, but I never quite got into that. So what else? Yeah, what other games there? So it's like things like this. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit getting a little bit nearer. That game, oh, I've spent so many hours on that. This game actually cost me a fortune because I decided I was going to build a PC, which was one of these, you could buy a 32-inch LCD TV, and in the back of it had like a chassis that you could put a micro ATX motherboard in. Fantastic idea. So we buy one of those, you got your media center, remote control and what have you, got IR blasters and stuff. So I spent ages trying to build a PC low enough wattage to use the power supply that was in this TV, and it would actually play this game. This was the whole point of the entire operation. I bought sticks of RAM, I bought an Athlon, I think it was an X3 450, 8 gigs of RAM, and I tried to squeeze in there a Radeon 5570, the really low powered one. And for some reason that god-awful card just kept on crashing the computer and it never worked properly. I lost my patience and gave up with it in the end, but I spent many hours and months trying to get that thing working, all because of this game, which I've realised I bought this game, I've got the physical CD, I've bought it on Steam twice, don't know how I did that, and I've also got it on Origin as well, I think. Bizarre, but it was a great game and I really love it, and I still play that now. I actually played that the other night. My Kath is pointing at the screen, which means I've got a question. Pre-recorded? What, me? I wish it was, because I could be playing these games. Charles Honor, do these old games have any second value? I guess you mean second-hand value. Arguably, possibly yes. If they're in pristine condition, I'd imagine there's a collector somewhere who's got walls and walls of these games and loves collecting them and tries to get all the add-on packs that came out for games, etc. For me, I don't think they hold any value other than kind of nostalgic value, and it's kind of nice to revisit. I would desperately love at some point to build a proper retro old school PC with something like a Pentium 200 MMX or something along those lines, or maybe a K2500 with 3D now, something along those lines, something really kind of old school that'll run these games quite happily on Windows 95 or Windows 98 without throwing any wobblies. I think that would be a really good way of doing it. What sort of games are you guys interested in playing, or what are you playing right now? Well, in fact, what are you playing right now? What games have you installed recently? What are you playing? Me and Kath are going to be playing 2 Point Hospital in approximately, 10 o'clock? So 2, in 9 hours time. Not that I'm counting down. Well, actually it's 9 hours and 3 minutes, but let's not get picky about it. I'm totally looking forward to that. These games, I don't know what it is. There's some kind of whether it throws you back to your childhood when you're like younger, playing on the Atari 2600 at Christmas in front of the gas fire, or whatever it was, I don't know. But for me, computer games hold a really kind of special feeling. You can kind of totally get immersed into it, even with the older graphics. Some of the older games actually are probably more immersive than some of the new modern games, which tend to go for a kind of style over substance. I don't know, what do you guys think? Charles Arnold, I'm only playing Train Simulator. I'm not a game player, I like simulation games. Now, which train simulator is it? Is it the TS 2014, 15, whatever the kind of... I know they update it every so often. I actually did have a go on the train simulator. I was building a PC or doing an upgrade for a friend at work, and they only wanted a PC to play one game. In fact, do you know somebody called Mark? It could be you. You could be that person who's playing the game. But yeah, he wanted the train simulator to run. His PC didn't do it, so I had to do him an upgrade so he could run it on it. I ended up putting what did I put in there? That was a Radeon 5770, 8 gigs of RAM, and that was again the triple core X3 450 or 455. And he was very happy and could play Train Simulator until the carriages came home. 80s horror fan, 88. I'm not a big gamer, more of a film fan. Now, I would have never have guessed that from your name. So Nightmare on Elm Street would probably be right up your street. Do you go into sort of sci-fi as well, like RoboCop? For me, RoboCop, I don't know how many times I've watched RoboCop. I think that is possibly one of the finest films of that decade, if not that century. Train Z and MS Train Simulator, Charles says. Yeah, Microsoft Train Simulator. I really quite like that as well, actually. I don't want to admit it, but I did. Got it in one, Freddy K all the way. Yeah. Okay, what was the European car which featured in the first film, which was a convertible, which wasn't... the fourth Freddy film. European car, which was a convertible, which wasn't actually available in that country at the time. Bit of pop trivia quiz for you there. Charles Arnold, have you come across the game called The Incredible Machine? It's a puzzle game. I haven't. Is that based on The Incredible Machine on YouTube? If you search for it, there's a kind of, like they used to have with the marble run. So you'd have a marble run down, it'd knock over a domino and then go hit something else, and then that would knock into something else, and so on until you get to the final bit. Those things used to be amazing. There used to be a Japanese craze of it, and they had this kind of real catchy little tag tune on the end of it, and me and Kath used to sit there watching those for hours. We are quite sad. When we're not playing Lola or Monopoly, we're watching Lula, sorry. When we're not watching that, we're watching Asian people knocking down dominoes. Got me stumped there with the one with the Freddy Krueger film. It was the... Sorry, Kath? Kristen was the character who drove it. Any closer? No, so it was a Mark I Golf convertible in silver with a black... I'm not sure whether it would have been leather, but basically with a black roof. And Kath always wanted that car. And when we moved house, when we first bought our first house, the people that owned the house actually had one on the driveway, and we offered them a deal to buy the house and the car, but they kept the car, sadly. So we've never actually had that Mark I Golf, but never mind. Yeah, 80s horror fan says. Yeah, there is something about those 80s films. Like I say, RoboCop, for me, because of the technology involved in how it was made, was just insane. And that kind of dystopian look of the future was amazing. And the Freddy films were great as well. They were kind of quite dark to begin with, and then they got quite light-hearted, and they became almost towards the end like a parody of themselves, which kind of gave it a slightly wider mass market appeal, I guess. And I remember the first one, I was actually terrified watching it. It was quite frightening. But then I probably only was about 15 or 16 maybe when it came out. Charles Arnold, I don't think so, but it does use balls bounces and requires knowledge of basic physics. It was really done for DOS, but I haven't seen an update for Windows of any version. Oh, right, incredible machine. I'll have to look into that. That sounds quite good. I used to really love Marble Madness. Did any of you guys play Marble Madness? And you had an arcade machine that had like a roller ball, and you had like a track, like a three-dimensional track, and you had to get the marble to go down the run without going off the sides or falling in any traps. And that was like a real test of kind of physics and weight. And actually for an early arcade game, the amount of physics which were in that programmed into that is actually quite astonishing, especially for that time period. I managed to meet all the cast and get my posters signed now after going all over the UK to comic and horror cons. That's devotion for you right there. We'll not bore you with horror anymore. No, horror is a good thing. We quite like horror. I'm trying to think of what other horror films that we used to be into, that we used to watch. Especially like 80s ones. Well, there's Fame, that was on in the 80s. That was a bit horrific. Probably not classed as a horror though, although some of those leggings were damn tight. Oh, Halloween. Halloween films, yeah. I always struggled to, yeah, because they had the game, there was a game called Splatterhouse, which was kind of loosely based around the, it was Michael Myers, wasn't it, in Halloween? Was that Michael Myers? No, that wasn't, that was, oh, was it? Was that Mike Myers? Or, who was the guy with the baseball, about the hockey mask? I'm probably confusing myself now. Halloween. Jason, that's it. Jason Myers, was it? Or am I getting the name completely wrong? Friday the 13th. Ah, yes. Jason Voorhees. That's it, yeah. So that's what the game, there was a game called Splatterhouse, which was an arcade game, and I think it was released on the Mega Drive as well, Sega Mega Drive, so that probably dates it as well. So that must have been, that was probably early 90s, maybe late 80s, early 90s, but Splatterhouse, that was a great game. Friday the 13th is a good game on PC. I haven't seen that. I do quite like the whole kind of zombie genre. And talking of gaming, some of the PC zombie genre games I think are fantastic. Dying Light is a massive game for me. I play that all the time. And well, you guys might have seen it at the recent live stream I did playing the new closed beta, which I've been testing for them, which is, what was it called? Bad Blood, which is a bit of a kind of, it's basically Fortnite with zombies, which is quite good. But the zombie games I do enjoy. So horror and games do go together, I think, quite well, quite nicely. Now actually, while I'm thinking about it, the reason why I was going to do this live stream, apart from nostalgia, was looking back. Now, today, well, I think it was this morning, we actually managed to create a little, well, not create, get to a little bit of a milestone. The channel has recently, well, as of today, had over 2 million views. 2 million views. So that is like 2 million people have put up with this for 10-15 minutes. So to all those people, including you guys who are watching now, thank you very much for watching and being part of it. Subscriber wise, we've only got like just over 4,000, but I think it's because our early videos, the how-to videos and the help videos, like the Fitbit how-tos and the kind of no sound on calls and all that sort of stuff, was basically people were looking at things in an emergency, like, oh, it's not working, type it in Google, look for it, and then it was like a one-shot deal for them. Whereas now we're trying to kind of build a community, talk about different parts of the community, like the gaming and technology and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully we're looking to get hopefully 6,000 plus subscribers by the end of the year, which would be really nice. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just a thank you to everyone who's kind of watching really and has watched to get us to 2 million views, which is weird because when we first started out, the first video that we made, Kath said to me, so what do you want to get out of this? What do you want to happen? I said, well, I'll be happy if I get 100 views. So I kind of, I've done that. I've got my 100 views and a little bit more. So yeah, long may it continue. So thank you all very much. Now, what else was I going to say? Oh, there's something else I was going to say. So I've talked about the game coming out, 2 Point Hospital, which is really important. Totally looking forward to that. Talked about the retro gaming, which actually I wish I could have some form of virtual machine on my PC and maybe excuse me, a USB CD and play some of these games again. But I guess finding the time is actually a really difficult thing to do. But some of the games are just brilliant, like Holiday Island, like made by Ocean. Remember Ocean? Now, if you're old enough to remember the kind of Sinclair Spectrum and the Commodore 64 and the VIC-20 and the Acorn Electrons and all that sort of thing, then Ocean were a big thing back then. Basically, there's probably 3 or 4 massive manufacturers or producers of games. Ocean was one of them. I'm trying to think who else there was at the time. I struggle to think who else there was. Maybe you can tell me in the comments. I suppose there was Mastertronic, which did like basically games for £1.99, and you go into local supermarkets and post offices and they'd have like a rotisserie of cassette tapes on, and they were like £1.99 for the crappy games and £2.99 for the slightly better games, and they were like Mastertronic, this like gold label or something. It was bizarre. £3 for a computer game. Things have changed a little bit, haven't they? I remember Carmageddon, I think, when that came out, that was probably £25. That was £25 to £30, and this was back in the early 90s, so game prices have kind of gone up a little bit, but they still are a lot more expensive than they were when they were on cassette tape. 80s Horror. Love the channel, Mike and Kath. You're doing a great job. Oh, bless you. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say so. And there's a few more people in watching at the moment. Not too sure who. But it's very good to see you all here. So what else, gaming wise, this is actually something I'm thinking about doing as like a sub part of the channel, or maybe a different channel altogether. Actually doing live streams of playing these older games. Is that something that you guys would be interested in doing or seeing or being part of? I'm not too sure. I don't really want to go down the same route where everybody does it, where you've got a full screen thing of the game, little talking head of me in the corner, and just going through the same old stuff. I'm trying to think if there's some other kind of niche or element of these games that we can actually get into and enjoy and discuss, so it becomes more of a two-way thing rather than you just watching someone playing games. Yeah, or anything else you'd like to see on the channel, really, for that matter, whether it be sort of stripping apart a PC or all that kind of stuff, or maybe you'd want to see a little bit of Lula action on the screen. Maybe we could arrange that. Or maybe we can do some cosplay and we'll see if we can get Kath to be Lula and I'll be just some fat, geeky bloke. I probably could do that quite easily. This is going to fall over again. That's going to go. Never mind. So I think that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to talk about tonight. Mostly it was to say thanks for everybody for being part of the channel and watching and spending your time with us, and Kath and I are both very appreciative of it. We're totally looking forward to tomorrow with 2 Point Hospital, so if you haven't got it or you've not seen it, seriously, just watch some of the videos from the original, well, from some of the releases. Just take a look at it. It's more of a comedy that you play rather than being a simulation, but it's got a lot of simulation mechanics to it. So if you like having a bit of a laugh, you like a bit of humour in your games, and you like to actually have a challenge as well, like building a hospital. Basically, you can make your own NHS, and you can't do much worse than what they're doing to ours. So best of luck to everybody out there. 80s Horror Fan 88. Is there a stream on Friday as normal? There is going to be a live stream on Friday. I'm not sure whether it will be normal, but we'll have a go. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, there should be a live stream on Friday. In fact, actually on Friday, I'll probably discuss some of the news that we've had this week. We've been speaking to some manufacturers and distributors and retailers around the world, and we're getting some pretty good feedback. They're still a little bit hesitant because we're still quite a small channel, but because we're getting the hit rate and a lot of views, some companies now are kind of starting to get on board. So we've got some great news from InWin. If you guys have heard of InWin, they do some really nice stuff, and I've been meaning to buy one of their cases for a long time, so it seemed like an ideal opportunity to try and get involved with them. So we've got an InWin case coming in, some fans. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. That is going to be a replacement for the Fractal Design Fractal Design C. I have to remember what it's called then. That will be hopefully a replacement for that. So that is going to look really nice. And we're going for a Stormtrooper type build. So got a nice white case coming. So that'll be an interesting build. Also we've got Creative Labs. Surprisingly, Creative Labs now haven't been around for a long time, especially in the sound card market, unless you're doing some sort of dedicated sound recording or whatever. Back in the day, if you had a PC, you had to basically have a Sound Blaster card for compatibility. Other cards would work, but they just weren't as reliable and weren't as good. The software wasn't as good for them. So Creative Labs, we've spoken to them, and we're actually getting a slightly different product for the channel, which is going to be some sports headphones actually, but with a bit of a unique twist. So we'll be having a look at those. That hopefully will be on Friday. You deserve it. You give honest reviews, and that's what counts. We do try and give honest reviews. Now, I've actually got at the moment, this is an interesting dilemma I've got at the moment, which you guys may or may not be able to relate to. I've had a product sent to me, which I've paid for. They've offered to refund my money. Basically, that's how reviews work on most of these things now. So you buy it as a verified customer on Amazon, etc., and you go through all that rigmarole. Sometimes they send you it for nothing, but they prefer to have a verified purchase. So I bought something off Amazon, which I've used and I've tested, and it isn't great. In fact, it's poor, very poor. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to kind of be negative towards any product, especially it's not here and I've not done a review on it and for you guys to see it. But it's actually, I feel bad in the respect that I'm probably just going to send it back to Amazon regardless and get a refund because it isn't suitable. But I also feel bad for the company that's trying to promote it, because they're doing a really good job. They're spending a lot of money on advertising and stuff, and they're being really good trying to get people to review their products, but it's just not a good product. And I want to see the best in it, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't do what it's meant to do, then it's pointless. So that is a review that I was going to do, which I'm not going to do, purely for the fact that I don't agree with the product. And I don't want to do a negative review, because I don't think negative reviews actually help anybody. If you want to see a review of something negative, go to your local Houses of Parliament or whatever, you'll see some negative reviews there. But I don't want to do negative reviews on this channel. Although saying that, last night I did a video on the my problems with the Huawei phones. Now, if you've not had a Huawei phone or not heard of them, that's a Huawei phone, which is a great phone, good value for money, but it just doesn't get any updates. So it's basically a security risk as far as I'm concerned, and they don't want to know. They're not interested in updating it, or at least that particular model. No over-the-air updates, but that's another matter. So that isn't, it's a great phone, and I've highlighted that when I was talking about it, but it does have a downside. It's not a negative review because it doesn't hamper the actual use of the device. Whereas the device that I am, or planning to review, or wanted to review, actually has a complete, basically it's designed to do one thing and one thing only, and it doesn't do it, or it does, but it does it very, very badly. So I don't want to review something and recommend it, or even partially recommend it, based on how well it looks, when it doesn't actually do what it's meant to do, or not very well. So hopefully you get that. It feels weird not doing it, because it's almost like this is my, not my living, but it's kind of almost becoming a job, and I don't want to turn away people who are paying me to do my job, if you see what I mean. So it's a bit of a dilemma, and I don't want to go against my own views and my own beliefs purely chasing money, because that seems like a real shitty thing to do. I don't want to do that, and hopefully by staying true to myself, staying true to you guys, then I'll get more and more people watching and more followers and people who trust what I say, hopefully. Anyway, we'll see what questions we got. Hey Harvey! Good evening, Famalam. So Harvey, you've come in a little bit late, you've missed it, you'll have to rewind it, watch it on the DVR later. Nothing exciting, although actually saying that, while you're on Harvey, I was looking today at a 3D printer. I think it was the CL10, which I think is the one that you've got, which you've been doing some video reviews on yourself, which guys, if you're watching, go to Harvey's Tech Cave and check out some of his reviews of the products that he's been using. Very good, although his microphone was a bit bust on one of his videos, which was quite amusing, but still, it happens to the best of us.
Our lights went.
Yeah, our lights went in one of our early videos, and I was trying to do a review in darkness, which wasn't helpful. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much it. Unless any of you guys have got any questions related to either any of the games here or anything game related at the moment, or even about 2 Point Hospital, which is being released tomorrow, because I'm quite happy to answer questions on that because I've done a lot of research and I know quite a lot about it already. But I'll hopefully be doing a live stream on that tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning if I can get up, which I really think someone who's 44 years old shouldn't be getting up at that time of the day to play damn computer games like a bloody kid. What do you guys think? Well, you guys are probably getting ready for work, which I should be doing. Oh, Harvey's trying to flog me a bloody a printer in the chat now. No such thing as old. No, that is very true. We all feel in our minds that we're still sort of 16, 17 years age and everything's all bright new and cool. But then you try and roll your fat ass off the sofa and you realise that you can't get up as quickly as you used to, and that's when you realise that you are getting older, but not old maybe. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, hang on. Whoa, hold the press. Charles Arnold, talking of printers, I would very much appreciate your reviews on printers' capabilities to print envelopes. Now that, sir, you are very much in the right ballpark, because I have had extensive experience of printing envelopes on printers, both for a company I used to work for, M Squared. I used to actually print out, well, with CAF, we used to print out envelopes from our database. I had a computer company I ran myself, which had a database, and we'd pump out sort of 300 envelopes with addresses on and what have you, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely I would... Oh, hang on, sorry. One thing, got any recommendation? My wired connection keeps disconnecting, but the internet isn't going at all. Not too sure. Let me, going back to the printers thing, now, it depends how you want to do it and how you've got your sort of database set up for the people you want to send it to. If you're using Microsoft Office, then if you're using Word and you can import addresses into Word and print them out and get them spaced out for proper, I don't know whether you're using DL envelopes or whatever it may be, but totally it's very doable. It doesn't always look that professional if you're using an inkjet, if I'm honest. You're probably better off, if you can, getting the address labels done separately on a laser and then stick them onto an envelope. If I'm completely honest with you, that does seem to give a much better output. But again, if you wanna kind of have a chat about it, hit me up in the comments or get me on the Discord or Facebook Messenger, whatever, and we'll talk about it in a bit more depth. It probably deserves a little bit more of a in-depth conversation rather than a quick chat about it on a stream, to be honest with you. But yeah, hit me up in that and we'll discuss it. That gives my mind something to ponder overnight. So yeah, that'd be great. We'll definitely sort something out for you there. Angel, oh, Angel's online. Hello, Angel. Angel says hello, Mum and Dad. Hiya, how you doing? Shouldn't you be a bed? Get a bed. Watchers increasing. Oh yeah, that's always the way. When you start wrapping up something, everyone seems to get... Now actually, that's a good question. You guys that have seen this videos on, obviously you're getting notifications, I would imagine. But there seems to be a massive amount of people that aren't getting any notifications. In fact, even our own Discord server doesn't get notifications of our own videos, which I've tried resetting for both CAF's channel, which is ShopSmart, and if you haven't been to CAF's channel, go to CAF's channel now, subscribe and click on the like button to give her a little bit of a boost to get her towards that magic figure of 1 million subscribers. That'd be really useful. Angel says we should be a bed. Hey, hang on. Angel said earlier she'd be very proud of us if me and Kath managed to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to play that game to do a live stream. She said that she would be proud of us. This is our 17-year-old daughter who wouldn't drag her ass out of bed for anything before midday before. Now she's out to work every day and now she's laying down the law. Good luck to you. God bless. I tick the bell icon, it gives you an email. Yeah, that's good. Oh, Charles Arnold said looking forward to discussing further. Yeah, I am actually. It's quite an interesting topic. A little bit boring for people who aren't interested in it, but actually if you're trying to do it, it can be like a really rewarding thing to get it done right. Sorry, going back. So sorry, what was Harvey's question? One thing, got any recommendations? My wired connection keeps on disconnecting, but the internet isn't going at all. So to clarify with that, so your internet is staying on and active, but your wired connection is dropping out. Is that what you're saying?
He's a bit more.
That's maturity. Yeah. You say you said more? I can't see it.
PC wired Ethernet connection has cutouts, keeps red crossing like every 5 minutes. Strange.
Oh. PC wired thing has cutouts, keep red crossing every 5 minutes. Strange. Have you tried using a cable tester on your cable and wiggling it around to see if there's anything broken in it? Chances are those internet cables, if it's at the back of the PC and you move your PC around a little bit, then those cables or the kind of the copper inside the wires is actually really fragile and they're not really designed to be moved around at all. So if you've moved it around, there's a strong possibility that one of the cables is possibly broken down in the cable, which will give you a random thing. So as the cable sort of moves, it stays on and off, and the PC, just a little bit of movement can probably do that. Russ B, hi Mike, caught you live. Evening Russ B. But the Wi-Fi and other Ethernet devices are fine. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I'd imagine, Harvey, it's probably a cable that's got some sort of breakdown in the cable itself, or it might just need the ends recrimping. If you've got a crimping tool that you can use, if not, I've got my crimping set, so I'll drop it into your house or something, and you can try it, or let me know what size cable you need, and I'll run you a new cable up. Angel, had to buy a Decton screwdriver. Had to buy a Decton screwdriver. Set looked cool on the wall. Thank you, 80s horror fan. Do you know what? That is probably one of the best upgrades I've done to this kind of home studio. Now, I know that sounds like a completely stupid thing to say, but my screwdriver set and my IKEA toolbox, which is great actually, go to IKEA, get yourself an IKEA toolbox set, they're fantastic. But my screwdriver set is in a cupboard down behind there. So if I'm working on a PC up here, I'm like, oh damn, I need a screwdriver, and I've got to dig it all out into there, and there's all my sort of DeWalt tools and stuff underneath it, and bags and what have you. So having the screwdrivers there is absolutely amazing, because there's 3 flathead, 3 crosshead, it covers all bases. They're magnetic, but not very magnetic, so I might have to work on that. But yeah, they are great, I love them. Angel says, put the cat on the table, please. Harvey says he's being lazy and he's got plenty of other Ethernet cables free. That's what I would do, mate. Or even actually, if you take the cable out the back on both sides and, oh, the cat's eye, don't knock the cable. Sorry, we've been invaded. So that's our cat, Flame. George named him Flame because he's ginger. Go figure. Charles Arnold, another question. Charles Arnold, have you come across the issue with iOS 11.4.1 not maintaining internet connection? First of all, Charles, iOS. I'm kidding. No, actually, saying that, Kath, what version of iOS are you running at the moment? 11.4.1?
I think.
She's just checking now. Hello, Michael Gamlin. Good evening. Yeah, Kath says she's on that iOS version. Now, it's interesting you should say that, because Kath does find that her internet connection drops a lot more frequently than probably not previously, but it seems to struggle going between different Wi-Fi areas. So like in the house here, we've got 3 Wi-Fi areas. So there's Churchill Middle and Churchill Rear. So because we're quite a narrow, long house, depending where you are, it goes from one to the other. Now I think in the latest iOS update, I'm not entirely sure, but this is what I'm thinking is happening, is in the newer updates, there's like a threshold in the dB range. So depending where the Wi-Fi is, if it's at a certain threshold on the dB, it will jump and try and find the next one and go and so on and so on. So as you go through an area, as the signal becomes weaker, it jumps to the next one. But what I'm thinking is, I think they've changed the dB threshold so that it holds on to the signal longer on the Wi-Fi and doesn't release quick enough to go to the next one. Or maybe the threshold isn't low enough so that if you're home internet, if you're in a relatively good area, it basically just cuts off and thinks, no, I need a different internet connection. So then it hunts for another one, can't find one, and then goes back to your original. That's my theory on it anyway. I'm not sure if there's any apps you can get which will kind of, you can have any sort of manual control over the thresholds on that. I think there is actually in the advanced settings in Wi-Fi. I think there's somewhere you can set the threshold to be aggressive or not. I think there used to be years ago. I haven't had an iPhone for a long time, so I'm not sure, but that might be worth checking out. Say hello to Gran, a special hello. Do I use her real name or not? She might get upset. Good evening, Pat Beezer. Very nice of you to join us on this evening. We're celebrating having 2 million views, and actually you've probably been very helpful with all that, because you go in and you share all our videos. Most of them have probably got no interest to you whatsoever, but you do the right thing. You click on the videos and you share them across your Facebook friends, and hopefully that gets our views up. So from Kath and me, thank you very much. It is appreciated. There you go, Angel. 80s horror fan, iOS is a bad word, as that I mentioned a crucifix fell off the wall somewhere. Yeah, I expect my internet connection is going to go now after saying iOS. In fact, if you say iOS 3 times in the mirror, do you get to see Steve Jobs behind you? Just a thought. Russ B, sorry to go on about your P10 this morning. Not a problem. That is what the channel is for, and that's what the comment section is for, is to have an open and honest and frank discussion. That is totally what it's all about. I've got no problem at all. In fact, the more people go on, the better, because sometimes in one kind of paragraph or one sentence, you can't really get a real grasp of what someone's trying to sort of relay to you or whatever. So, yeah, the more the merrier. Keep on commenting. And funny, I was going to do an update video, but I'll give you a little kind of sneak peek at the moment. I did actually, I wiped the phone completely because I started using the Huawei firmware finder app, and it tried to download the very latest version, which is for the Huawei, which is ends in 370, and it just got into this weird loop where it wouldn't do anything. So I did a factory reset on the phone. First thing I did is go on the Huawei firmware finder app, and I found that if you go through the individual updates, click on it and then check, there's a thing you can check the EMI number to see if it's actually valid for your phone. So I went down the list until I found one which was actually valid, which I should have done the first time around, really, is my fault, but the instructions for the app are piss poor, so I'm going to actually make a video explaining how to use the app, because it is actually useful. Shouldn't have to do it, but it is useful. But anyway, long story short, so I found a version of Android 8 that worked and was supported by the device. It updated it very quickly using their VPN, and although I did see, when it did a reboot, I did see a very, very weird Chinese or Japanese website which didn't look like anything official. So where the hell that come from, I don't know. Now whether my phone has now got some dodgy Chinese hack running on the background, don't know, not sure. I have to run some antivirus stuff on it. But at the moment it's running Android 8 Oreo, and if my fingerprint would work. And yeah, there we are. We're on Oreo, which I didn't think was going to happen. But it's a shame that Huawei themselves wouldn't release the update to allow me to do it, rather than having to fish around hunting for dodgy ROMs. But I suppose that is one of the downsides of buying slightly cheaper Chinese mass-produced phones, especially when they release one every year, because they obviously can't afford to keep supporting it. Anyway, Monopoly, duh. They're talking about the Monopoly game. Yeah, Monopoly for the PC. That was actually really rubbish. We played it for a little bit, but it's really frustrating because you just want to shake the dice or move the little hat or the race car yourself. It just takes it away from you. And you obviously can't cheat as well. So, which upsets Kath because she likes to nick all the hotels. Angel, can we just get the board game? Yeah. Angel, it's 2018. Do they still sell board games? Yes, they do, Angel. They're virtualized though. Rollercoaster Tycoon. God, I remember playing that, the original one in front of you. That was amazing. Yeah, George loved it too. You'll have to use a tiny branded PC case for the retro build. Keep it retro. Now, I was actually, because I worked at M² years ago, I did actually find a case, which I'm not sure, did I throw it out? I think I've thrown it out, haven't I? Or did I take it back to work?
Take it back to where we put that.
I did have a circa 1998, 99 beige case from M², the company I worked for, and that case was a monster. It actually injured more people than I cared to admit. It had a really, really sharp metal edges on it everywhere. One of the guys who probably subscribes to this channel, or at least is a friend on Facebook still, Carl Alden, he had a really, really bad cut building on one of these cases once. He had to go to hospital and everything. It was like absolutely gushing with blood. Sorry for the blood reference there, but it was horrific. And a lot of people refused to build in those cases after a while because they were just so bad. But that was, yeah, I really want to do a retro build. I did kind of start one before, but bits and pieces didn't work, and then I couldn't get it to run. Actually, I know what it was. It was I think it was an Acer or Asus board, and there was a fan on the chipset, and it just wouldn't do anything. Maybe it's because it was a little bit too new. It was like an XP 1700 processor. Maybe I should have gone a little bit further back. They tend to last longer. I really would actually like to do an old Celeron, like a slot 1 Celeron, one of the first Celerons, maybe the 333 or something. I think that would be quite nice. I think that was actually one of the first PCs I built actually myself. Celeron 333 with probably 64 megabytes of RAM possibly. No, that seems like a bit too much. But anyway, it was a great build, loved it. MSI 6119. I'll never forget that motherboard. Tiny computers. Tetanus from PC case. Yeah, do you know what? I think he did. Jesus Alfonso. Good evening, Jesus. I am waiting for 2 Point Hospital. I am negative by the trailers, but I hope it does not disappoint me. Jesus Alfonso, I don't think it will. The trailers, yeah, probably a little bit over the top, but I've watched some of the gameplay today from Sega, and they did a little bit of a live stream earlier on Twitch, and it does look amazing. I actually started replaying, sorry, go over this again. I started replaying this with Kath last night, Theme Hospital. We were playing Doctors and Nurses late last night, and yeah, we had a great time. It was fantastic, but it did get to the point where you kind of completed the level, and it did feel a little bit kind of repetitive, which hopefully with the new 2 Point Hospital, because of the extra bits and pieces that are added into it, like the heat maps and the ability to change things on the fly, and also some of the new diseases they dreamt up, like the where everybody walks around looking like Freddie Mercury and things like that. It's just like, it is really bizarre, and hopefully with power of a PC now, the extra maps and stuff that you can do on it, it's a massive, massive map, and you can carry on progressing, and then you can actually challenge and go back to previous hospitals and redo them again and stuff. So it's looking like it's going to be a really good game. So I'm totally looking forward to it. If I can stay awake 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, or if I can get up for 7 o'clock in the morning when it actually goes live, I will definitely do a live stream. I may even have to do it in my pants, but I'm going to do a live stream. And not a live stream in my pants, that's something else. That's what happens when you get old. Remember, if you're after a 3D printer, I've got one spare, lol. Trying to flog it somewhere. Okay, everybody, so Harvey's got a 3D printer that he wants to sell, so if you want to make him an offer for it, I'm sure he'll... Actually, is it any good? I am actually tempted, though. I think I might start making Mikesunboxing key rings to give away as gifts. Get ready for the Christmas rush. Start printing them now. They should be done by probably the Christmas after next. Working 7 till 6, what a way to make a living. Good night, Michael. Good night, Angel. Good night, Pat, if you're still there. And thank you all for helping us get to 2 million views, etc., and sharing the videos. To be honest, I'll be happy to sell it for like 100 quid. I may well have that off you, Harvey. I don't know how to use it, I don't know what to do with it, but I think I need to have one for the channel. So, message me and... choking to death. Kath, can you pass my cup of tea, please, wherever I've hidden it? Hey, that's ironic, isn't it? It's a Merry Christmas cup, and we're talking about making Mikesunboxing key rings to give away at Christmas to the subscribers. Happy days.
18 weeks.
Yes, 18 weeks till Christmas, guys. That's scary. So Harvey, yeah, definitely we'll go in the Discord and we'll have a chat about that, because I think I think that'd be actually quite a cool thing to have here. Kath's making some kind of rude gesture behind me, which is really, really distracting. And she's like, no, no, never. Yes, you did. Women. Can't live with them, can't bury them under the patio, as Mandy Jordash will vouch for. Oh no, that's the other way around. Merry Christmas in advance. Brilliant job. Right, so we're up to almost an hour now, and I think I've probably milked the death out of this. Although we have raised some pretty decent questions, and also we've had to talk about old stuff in horror movies, which I'm totally down with. In fact, I might get some horror movie posters to put up in the background, just to fill out the wall a little bit. Could do with a Freddy Krueger up there. That'd be quite nice. Maybe a Jason Voorhees, and who else? Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Not really horror, but brightens the wall up a bit, I suppose. And she's black and white, so goes with the theme. Apart from the red lips, I guess.
Match your screwdrivers.
Yeah, match my screwdrivers. Okay, so thank you everybody who's been with us tonight. Again, this channel is nothing without you guys, so this is for you. I'm quite happy to witter on here all night long, but I probably shouldn't, and you guys have probably got something better to do. I'm going to go and see how my, actually saying that, I'm going to go onto my computer now and I'm going to download the 2 Point Hospital and get it preloaded ready. I've already bought a copy for Kath, so it's only right that I buy a copy for myself. And I'm not even sure if you can do competitive play against each other, actually. That'd be interesting. We'll see. Anyway, so I'm going to go on and do that. Thanks everyone for watching, and don't forget on Friday night, around about 9 o'clock, live stream on Friday, so don't forget to bring a beer. So we'll have a drink, talk about tech, and yeah, have a bit of a laugh. So again, thanks everybody who subscribed and watched the videos and put up with me. I thank you all very much. Wouldn't do it without you. That's it, I've had it, I'm out of here. Cut that shit, I gone. At least I would do if I knew where the button was. See, this is the point about having a technology channel, then you don't know how to use technology. It's quite embarrassing, really. But I found the button now, so this is where it says stop streaming. So good night and God bless everybody. See you in the next one.